to Tuesday. It's the Chad Prather Show. I know you just can't get enough of me. After the Before the Noise this morning, let me jump over here in the chat, see if you guys are putting the dancing bananas in there. Oh, let's see what we got going on here. Is there a chat? Is there a chat that's even happening? Or do we not have a live chat that's happening? I think we do. I was sitting there looking at it a minute ago. Let me double check everything here, make sure we're good. In the meantime, you guys can look at the top of my head. There it is. I found it. It's just we're just waiting on it. You know, I can't even begin to tell you guys the level of just crazy technical difficulties that we have had ever since I started doing Before the Noise in the morning. I wish I could say that I am coming into those episodes with a peaceful demeanor before the noise, but I want to hit my computer with a hammer because of the technical difficulties that we continue to have because of this stuff. And I like to spiritualize it. I like to say it's because the devil don't want to say in some of those things, and they have a lot of meaning, and they know it's not a message that they want to get out there. And like yesterday, I was going to do it. I promised you guys I was going to do a video about Trump saying he wasn't going to make it into heaven. We tried for an hour yesterday to make that video, but there was technical difficulties on our side, on all of our sides, mine and David's. Meanwhile, Party Foul Steve just doing his thing, man. He's at peace. He has no problem whatsoever. He just like a goose that wakes up in a new world every day, man. Let the loose end drag, root hog, or die. Get all you can all you get. Sit on the lid, poison all the rest. I'd love to say I would love to say that Party Foul Steve is traveling. He's not traveling today. He's just away from his studio. In fact, he's in the other room right here. He'll probably come down here and peek his head in later on. We'll see. But David, producer David's going to join me in a little while. He knows what's up when he puts that number one top seller Amazon charting book, Born for Meaning. I got a couple of copies right here. Boom, 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 boom. Born for Meaning. If you hadn't gotten it, go get it. Just go get it. Look, we're selling all kind of stuff. Make America Pray Again at prathertees.com. We got a lot of deals. If you use promo code CHAD15, you get 15% off of everything on the store. And we got a lot of stuff. That includes the clearance items, too. We're clearing things out, always clearing things out. We've always got stuff. Eventually, we're going to come back. I'm looking at a brand new merch line for some things that I think are pretty cool. I was doing a little investigating on it this morning. I mean, right now, I'm working for free, baby. Working for free with you guys. All of it's a labor of love. And but you know what? It's not something that comes without its rewards. Because I truly believe that it's an investment. Everything that we're doing in this life ultimately should be an investment. You know, I see Party Foul Steve there in the chat. I look at like President Trump. You know, President Trump never had to do anything that he's done. He could have just lived a life of celebrity and, you know, been a billionaire and jet set around the world, done his thing. Everybody would have stayed in love with him, but he didn't do it. He made a sacrifice. It was an investment in this country because he saw the direction the country was going, and he said, nope, I don't like it. And he made an investment in it. And you see all the villainizing and the vilifying that they've done of him, his life, and his legacy. And I'm thankful that he did what he's done. He didn't have to do it. And he definitely didn't have to do it another time around. He didn't have to run again, but he did. And I'm glad he did. I saw him getting off the helicopter last night, Marine One, as he was returning back from Egypt after that peace accord. That agreement was signed there in Egypt amongst Israel and the Middle East countries. He didn't have to do it. He looks tired. He looks weary. I mean, he's 78 years old, right? He didn't have to do it. He's almost an octogenarian. I don't want to be doing that when I'm 80 years old. But here we are. You know, you want to die in the saddle with your boots on, folks. How about it? Anybody throw me them dancing bananas in there? I want to be a dancing banana when I'm an octogenarian. But it got me to thinking today, and this is what I want to spend some time with you talking about, and that's our friend Charlie Kirk. It's been a little over a month since Charlie was assassinated, martyred, if you will. I don't mind using that word. He's a martyr. Today's his birthday. Today would have been his 32nd birthday. So happy heavenly birthday to you, Charlie Kirk. And I was thinking about legacy. I was thinking about what we invest in this world and what we ultimately have the opportunity to leave behind when we're gone. You ever lay awake at night, middle of the night, you wake up and you think about death? You ever do that? I mean, I'm not the only morbid person out there. It just thinks about one day you will close your eyes for the last time. It might be sudden. It might be suffering. It might be due to a tragic accident. It could be because, like my grandfather, my paternal grandfather, when he died at 94 years of age, he climbed in the bed. He rolled over to his home health nurse who was helping him get in the bed. My father and his siblings were in the other room because they knew it was getting close to the end. He rolled over to the home health nurse, and 94 years of age, my grandfather, William Prather, he said, "Go in there and tell him I said goodbye." He rolled over and went into another world, stepped into eternity. Everybody wants to go out like that, but then we're not guaranteed any of those things. But we all will step into that phase called death. And I was thinking to myself last night, what do we leave behind? Legacy. Well, that's a word, man, that people throw around like it's just kind of a plaque you hang on a wall or a name you carve into a headstone or something like that. But I don't think of legacy as a monument. I've always said, you've heard me say it a million times, if you know where you came from, you know who you are, you know where you're going, you know what you're leaving behind. That's history, identity, destiny, legacy. We really ought to live life in light of those four elements of our existence. But yeah, legacy is not a monument. It's kind of a ripple. You know, you throw that pebble into the water. The splash is it's a certain size depending on the size of the rock you throw in the water, but the ripple is always bigger than the splash. And I hope that the echo of our lives is going to send a wave into eternity long after our voices go silent. See, I think that most people think that a legacy is about being just remembered. It's not. It's not, because ultimately most people won't be remembered. Legacy, it's about what remains. It's not about being remembered. Let me say it this way. It's about what remains because you lived. See, legacy isn't your name trending or in a headline or your face on a poster. It's the unseen fingerprints that you leave on the hearts of other people. It's that kindness that outlives your calendar, the courage that continues in someone else's step, and the truth really that stands when you're gone. And your legacy is not what you build, it's what you build into others. And I think that it's not what you owned or what you passed down, it's what you gave away while you had the opportunity. And it's not really what you said, it's about what they still remember you saying. So I think that's why we have to choose our words wisely. You know, legacy doesn't come from perfection. It comes from consistency and that daily choice to show up and do right even when it's hard to do that, to love when it's inconvenient, to tell the truth when it costs you something. Because legacy is what forms when your convictions collide with time. Later on in the episode, if you stick around, I will tell you, in my final words today, I'll tell you how to build a legacy, a good legacy. So that means you're going to have to stick around. Because I think that someday someone's going to speak your name for the last time on earth. But that doesn't mean your influence ends there just because they don't remember your name. Because legacy doesn't live in memory, it lives in momentum. So every seed you plant, every life you touch, and every ounce of integrity that you hold on to when nobody's looking, those are the roots of legacy. So when I'm laying there in the middle of the night, I'm thinking to myself, one day we're going to step into eternity. We're going to step in through death's threshold. I think we have to ask ourselves now, what's going to remain because we were here? We're going to talk about that today in regards to our friend Charlie Kirk. I want to remember his legacy a little bit today on his birthday. And I think that I want people to remember, all of our, if you lived a comfortable, lazy life, I don't want to be remembered for that. I want to be remembered for courage, right? I don't want to be remembered for the excuses I made. I want to be remembered for the example I left. And, not the status I had in society, but the stand I took for society. Because like I said, legacy is not written in stone. It's that dash between the date when you were born and the date when you die. But ultimately, it's more than that dash. It's your legacy is written in people's hearts, and every moment, every word, every act of faith adds another line to that story. It adds a longer dash. And you don't need the world really to know your name. You just need to make sure heaven knows what you did with it. And so we're going to talk about that today. I'm glad you guys are with me. Click a couple of dancing bananas. I am in love with a dadgum there. I see Party Foul Steve talking nasty in there. Somebody planting his share of seeds. This is why we have to keep Steve on the show, so we can keep him censored. Blow up that chat, everybody. Let me see an American flag. Let me see a dancing banana. Blow up that chat. Let me see a sparkly Chad. There's a sparkly Chad right there. Booyah, baby. I love to see that Rumble. You can do it over and over again. And Rumble will let you do more of those things. They used to say you've done it too many times. You poked the button too many times. Well, I tell you one button you can't poke too many times, and that is that thumbs up. Please do that. And click subscribe if you've not done so already. Let me tell you about my friends over at Birch Gold. I need you guys to text CHAD to 989898 and let them send you that free, no obligation information kit on how to roll over your retirement into a tax-sheltered IRA backed by physical gold. Right now, with a $5,000 investment, they will send you the free silver round, that 1 ounce silver round. It's pretty cool. It's got their logo on there. And right now, silver's up a long way. It's like $51, $52 an ounce, which is pretty good. But I need you guys, for the sake of the show and the sake of our sponsors and the sake of our partners over there at Birch Gold, to text my name, Chad, to 989898. So if you love me, when you're done hitting those dancing bananas, you'll text CHAD to 989898 and talk to our friends over at Birch Gold. They want to get this information in your hands. So let them help you. Trust them. That A+ rating with a Better Business Bureau. All right, let's bring my homeboy on here from Portland, Oregon. He's representing his Seattle Mariners today, and they looking pretty good. They wore them out last night. We'll talk about that as well. Our producer at David Medina PDX. Everybody follow him. Welcome to the show, David Medina. Everybody, what's up, buddy?
Chad Prather, my friend. You are so. Not only are you gorgeous for a 45-year-old.
Yeah,
but and I'm just saying that because I want you to give me a raise later. So no, I'm just kidding. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man. I texted you last night. I was sitting on the back porch and I was flipping back and forth between the football game and the baseball game.
Yeah.
The Mariners smoked them last night, dude.
Let's
I mean, what do you think? You think I was like, I don't want to curse it for David.
Well, you know,
I don't want to jinx it for you. How do you feel?
You're a country that doesn't allow prayer outside of churches or singing songs outside of churches, and you silence truckers across your own country like Canada did. You can't expect to go very far in sports when you're the home of a trash creator like Drake. There's just a big curse on Canada, and you're seeing it right now continue with the Toronto Blue Jays because they on paper they should be destroying the Mariners, okay, and they're not. The Mariners are up 2-0. Yeah. I'm trying to go to tomorrow's game. I might have to dip out. And actually, it's at 5, so I won't have to dip out early. But I'm trying to go to tomorrow's game or Friday's game in Seattle. It's only 2 hours north of me. So my Mariners are 2 games away from the World Series, Chad. They have never been to the World Series. The Brewers and the Mariners, only 2 teams in the MLB that has never been to the World Series.
You should do it. I think you should go. I think you should do it. I'm impressed with the Mariners. I mean, the Mariners, they had a good season all year long against, in that division. Because, of course, if you're looking at the Texas Rangers and the Houston Astros, I mean, they smoked them. So,
oh, yeah. And they did it without cheating, which is cool.
Oh, they cheated. I promise you. They just haven't gotten caught cheating. There's no such thing as not cheating in baseball. The fun thing about all of it is I have zero interest ultimately in who wins the baseball postseason. But, talking about Canada, did you see those clips of Katy Perry hooking up, shacking up, whatever she's doing with Justin Trudeau, which I knew that they were a thing now.
Dude, their kids are going to have their kids are going to be like pale with like hooves. I don't know. Like I can't even wrap my head around Katy Perry and who actually mocks Christianity more than most artists. I can't stand. I will never listen to Katy Perry. Never let my daughter listen to Katy Perry. But sorry to cut you off. But I just I got the image of like their kids, and I just can't do it.
Cloven hooves, fabricated tail, pitchfork, horns. Well, it tells you a couple of things. One, Katy, who came from a devout Christian family, right? And who just has absolutely rebelled against all of that. And then Justin Trudeau, it tells us that he's not gay, at least at the moment. And hey, YouTube, we're talking about GHEY. Why are you gay? But he's like getting him a handful of butt on one of those pictures. Like he's feeling her up pretty good.
Yeah.
And no, Jennifer, she was never married to Orlando Bloom. They were together for a long time. Imagine going, well, I guess she's got a thing for skinny dudes. From Orlando Bloom to...
It's just weird.
Justin Trudeau. I would have never thought that Castro's son swung that way, but apparently...
Castro's son.
Apparently he does.
Do you really believe that? Do you really believe that he's Castro's son?
Yeah, I do, actually. I think he's Fidel Castro's illegitimate son. I surely do.
Oh, my gosh.
I really do.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, you cannot, if you look at young pictures of Fidel Castro, you can't unsee it. You just can't unsee it. I mean, they look spitting image. And she spent time down in Cuba with Castro, his mother, at the same time where the math even, I mean, it works out.
Wow.
It works out. So I don't know. And I see what you're saying there in the chat, Sadie. Blow up the chat with your thoughts. I want to look at the chat today. You say all about the money. I don't know whose money. Katy Perry's got the money. I mean, Justin Trudeau comes from basically royalty, right? And so that's whose money? I mean, it's all about I don't know. I just think these people are power brokers. I think at some point in time it becomes about the power.
Yeah.
And not about the money. Katy Perry, supposedly went up into space or whatever that was. And I don't know.
Hey guys, can we blow up the chat for the Mariners, please? Just to make Chad mad.
No, we cannot. Absolutely.
Dance bananas for the Mariners. Let's do it.
Yeah, there's nobody. I like having the chat right here in front of me. But Katy Perry's actually from Santa Barbara, California. She's not from Canada. But I see what you said there, Tabby. You agree. You agree that's his son. You look at a young picture of Fidel Castro, man, it is Justin freaking Trudeau. And I'd love to see what you guys have to say in the chat about that. But if you guys are on Rumble, hit subscribe and hit the notification button so it tells you when we're on. And also on YouTube, we welcome you there under the Google Overlords. And I want you guys to, if you're on Facebook, click like. See, I know a lot of times, folks, like if you're watching it on X, click the little heart button down there. I will get thousands of views on X and like 17 likes or whatever. Click the little deal on there. It helps the algorithm.
I'm actually going to retweet right now. I'm going to retweet it right now.
Do it. And also, where podcasts are offered, leave us a rating and review. All right, let's talk about our friend Charlie Kirk. So he was assassinated, murdered on the 10th of September. It doesn't feel like a month has already gone by. Today would have been his 32nd birthday. And so, look at there. Look what you said there, Lizard Pad. Justin Trudeau's dad couldn't have children. Justin is Castro's son. He looks exactly like him. I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you. We've got some clips pulled up for Charlie. I get so disgusted with people. I had to block somebody or mute somebody in the chat this morning on Before the Noise because they started going off on Charlie. And it's like, I'm trying to moderate my own deal. I got to find me a moderator to do that. I'd let, if Linda would participate in the Jesus messages on there early in the morning, I'd make Linda. She'd be a dancing banana moderator right there. She'd mute people. But, people misinterpret the things that Charlie said. I'm so sick of this stuff taken out of context, like saying, well, he didn't believe in the word empathy. In the way that it's used today, no, I don't. And I understand exactly what he was trying to say. It wasn't mean-spirited. It was very accurate because it is a word that's abused. But let's get into some of the clips, some of the good stuff. And by the way, I've got, people don't notice, but back here over my shoulder, let me see if I can grab it here. Hang on. Oh.
Ned Flanders?
Ned Flanders. No, I've got a cross back here. It's got CK on it, Charlie Kirk. This is something that's been on my set ever since that day. It's back there on my little fake lamps, my little fake candles back there. Got my CK cross over there. And speaking of somebody else I keep on the shelf, look, let me show you somebody else that just wants to stick his head in over the deal. Look at this guy right here.
Party foul. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Party foul. Hold on. Hold on. I got something for him. Check this out. Check this out.
Hang on, Steve. Come back and look.
Why are you gay?
Why are you gay?
Why are you gay?
Why are you gay?
Everyone was talking about David being gay because he was saying some gay stuff right there at the beginning when he came.
Steve, I have a whole notebook written down of quotes that you have said off camera in pre-production. Don't even go there. I'll publish it tonight.
There's a lot of stuff that Party Foul Steve has said on a hot mic. There's a reason why Party Foul Steve had to leave the Blaze once upon a time. Because back in the day, everybody's like, why did you run Steve off? And I was like, well, they couldn't control him. They couldn't control him, so.
I'm uncensorable. I'm uncensorable. You can't censor me.
Hey, complexion looking good, Steve.
Steve comes in here. He doesn't know where to look. He doesn't know. There's a camera right there, but he's looking at this computer. He's looking at that computer over there. He's looking at the lights. And ultimately, he's looking at himself, David. He's trying to find out where to look because he wants to look at himself. And
this guy, man. Get him under control, Chad.
There's no way. There's no way to get him under control.
Oh, my gosh. That's
anyway,
funny.
So Charlie Kirk, let's pull that clip up right there. Let's pull up what we had there. This is Greg Price. This is by far my favorite video of Charlie Kirk, and it should be required for everyone in America to see. I've described Charlie as basically being like watching AI in real time. He would just download stuff. It was incredible to watch. Play the clip.
Our country was founded on common law because the Declaration only refers to God 4 times in the Constitution. It doesn't refer to God at all. And it only articulates the structure of government.
So first of all, remember that we were a collection of states and colonies, and you need to read the state constitutions before anything else. 13 out of 13 required a declaration of faith. In almost every single one of the original state constitutions, they had, I profess Lord and Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. Secondly, 55 out of 56 of the original signers of the Declaration were Bible-believing, church-attending Christians. You asked about common law. Well, let's go to 3 principles of common law. Presumption of innocence, due process, and jury of your peers. All 3 are biblical principles. And all wrapped into the ultimate biblical principle that you shall not favor justice if you are rich or poor, which is in Leviticus 19, which is the idea of blind justice, which is incorporated also in the New Testament ideal, neither slave nor Greek nor Jew, you are all one in Jesus Christ, which is the idea of human equality. These are all biblical ideas, but more importantly than that, they say that God was only mentioned 4 times in the Declaration of Independence. Well, that's a big deal. John Adams famously said the Constitution was only written for a moral and religious people. It was wholly inadequate for the people of any other. The body politic of America was so Christian that our form and structure of government was built for the people that believed in Christ our Lord. One of the reasons we're living through a constitutional crisis is that we no longer have a Christian nation, but we have a Christian form of government, and they're incompatible. So you cannot have liberty if you do not have a Christian population.
Oh, so brilliant, man.
Brutal. I mean, just brutal truth, dude. And, I love that clip. I love it so much. And it's so true that people don't know what the state's constitutions said. And, our country was founded on those states' rights, and the states were more important. A perfect example is Robert E. Lee. The reason Robert E. Lee didn't go fight for Abraham Lincoln and the Union armies of the North is because he could not see himself fighting against his home state of Virginia, which was a southern state. And in those days, your allegiance to your state was far more important than allegiance to your nation or the federal government, of course. And so they understood that. And somewhere along the way, we changed that. We took away the states' rights, and we stopped paying attention to the states' rights and the states' constitutions.
Yeah.
When I was running for governor, I mean, it was in the state of Texas. I leaned heavily on the Constitution of the state of Texas. Those state constitutions, man, if you've never read your state constitution, I don't know what kind of woke garbage yours has, David, up in Oregon, but I can tell you some of these younger states, older states have some solid preaching in them.
Well, our Oregon Constitution is actually good where it stands, but our Democrats here continue to ignore it. That's the problem, and they continue to try to add to it and change the meaning of stuff to include, fairies and queers, LGBTQs, and hooved leopards. I don't know what they're doing here at Oregon, but it's just like they're totally trying to dismantle, just like they're trying to do nationally, Chad, with the our U.S. Constitution. They're just trying to redefine it and say it's an old, outdated document. That's why I love that last clip. Charlie's so brilliant, man.
So brilliant. And that's what I mean when I say legacy. You could throw that little pebble in the water, but the ripple is going to keep going out. And Charlie was the epitome of that. I was thinking of him yesterday on Before the Noise in the verse of Scripture in John chapter 12 where it says, where Jesus said, unless a kernel of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it abides alone. But if it does fall on the ground and dies, it produces much fruit. And I see that epitomized and so symbolic in this loss of Charlie's life, physical life. But eternally, it's going to wash upon the shores forever. I mean, it's incredible if people will truly listen. I mean, he was a brilliant person, and I mean, it was really a God thing. It really was a spirit-led God thing, man.
Absolutely. And this next clip that we're going to show, I'm showing this for a reason because this is exactly why. Here, let's watch it first. Remember, Cenk Uygur? I don't know how you say his name.
Every time I'm around Dave Rubin, I go, "Why are you gay?" But then I say, how do you say Cenk or Yinger or whatever? Yeah. And I never can remember how to say it. But anyway.
Yeah, so from the Young Turks, he's, the far leftist. He's trying to appear more moderate now. Don't let these, by the way, guys, real quick, don't let these like leftist media pundits that have always been outspoken as a far leftist now kind of like appear that they're moderate. They know what the game is today, and it's about clicks and engagement. That's what pays people like them. And so they're trying to appear more moderate to get that's why you saw Gavin Newsom go on with Charlie Kirk on the podcast, and he's having on Michael Savage, all that stuff. Don't buy that stuff. These people are still far radical left, and they'll betray the American Constitution any chance they get. But I will say this, Chad, this clip right here, I'm going to tell you, I'm showing this for a reason, but this is pretty funny. Charlie just loses it on Cenk and just goes after him and talks about living as a capitalist. Watch this.
I live like a capitalist every single day, Cenk. I live as a capitalist, okay? I live what I believe. No. What do I do? I get charity every single year. Hold on. What's my salary? Less than his.
Charlie,
come on, Cenk, let's go.
Charlie,
There's a hoax on this, Chad. There's a hoax on this video. It's actually it's crazy. You guys remember the Fine People hoax, right? You remember the Fine People hoax where they try to, the media still today tried to claim that people on both sides that Trump was talking about. There is a narrative I've heard in Portland on the ground. People said he said chink. He was calling Asian people derogatory names. I'm not even kidding. I go, you realize he was talking to Cenk Uygur from the Young Turks, right? He was not saying that. It's just the perfect picture of just how these leftists are so brainwashed against people like Charlie Kirk, and they'll do anything to tarnish his legacy. And this guy, I mean, yeah, he lost his cool right there. He later said he wished he didn't do that, but sometimes we got to get excited like that. I don't mind that at all, by the way.
Yeah, I love a little passion. Yeah. K-Dub says he thought it was Cenk Uygur. It's not Uygur. Dave Rubin's told me 7 times now how to say it, and it's not even important enough for me to remember.
Yeah.
If my name was Cenk Uygur, I'd change my name. Shank, I don't know what it is. But this is, these guys, you're right. You make a great point. These guys that want to come out there for the clicks and the likes, I mean, that's exactly why. No one would have listened to Gavin Newsom's Dadgum podcast if he hadn't have started it with Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Absolutely.
It's so that's 100% exactly right. What else we got? Chunk yogurt. I like that, LB. Chunk yogurt.
That's good. So this one he kind of went after a girl that had F Charlie Kirk on her shirt, and this is how he responded to it. It's just this guy. He had so many different dimensions of like where he could go. He could be intellectual. He can be troll, like lovingly trolling people. He gets passionate, but this just shows how he turns this around. Check this out.
Yeah, why don't you read the shirt off for everybody?
Oh, my shirt, everybody. My shirt says "Fuck Charlie Kirk." Oh. It's got Dean and Parker on it. I mean, clearly you're offended.
Actually, I'm not. I find it hilarious. In fact, I'm so important that you have to make a shirt with my name on it.
You seem offended.
I actually think it's awesome that what I've done is I am living rent-free.
If you like it so much, you want to sign it?
I am living rent-free in so many libs' minds that you have to make merch with my name on it.
Okay.
I should charge you a licensing fee for that.
For what? For your name?
That's my NIL. I mean, come on. Like, you got to pay up.
Your name?
Yes.
You're going to charge me for your name?
Yeah, that's how NIL works. You understand? I'm being like a little lighthearted and sarcastic.
Do you want to sign it since you like it so much?
No, I don't have to sign it. You already have my name on it, actually.
Yeah, you're right. Well, debate Dean and Parker.
This is how you know you're losing. You have to go around being like, F Charlie Kirk. Okay, look great. Good luck.
Okay, buddy.
Yeah, these kids, they get in over their head and they think they're being smart and arrogant with all the whole, you want to sign it? You're clearly offended. I love that that's the way they try to troll. That's that's the way they try to troll you is, oh, you're offended. Somebody said that to me the other day. Oh, I guess you're upset. I can tell that you're upset. No, I'm not upset at all. I mean, I'm trying to communicate with you. I don't know how else to do that. But if you don't have, it's sort of like the naked bike protest, emergency naked bike protest, which, by the way, David, people were still sending me messages at midnight last night laughing about you talking about the leftover toilet paper hanging out the back of their ass. And I was like, yeah.
Well, I didn't really specify where I saw it. I just kind of left it up to your guys' imagination.
Well,
yeah.
I added that to my imagination. I thought it was pretty hilarious. Hey, look at that. I've been pre-approved for something. I never applied for anything. And
it was probably Steve, dude. He's probably trying to use your name to sign up another credit card or something.
Yeah, I know. Right?
That's what he does.
So funny. But anyway, the Charlie, you're right. He was so multidimensional in so many different ways. I mean, there were so many different things, and he had to deal with that. He had to deal with at least these people. I'll respect that girl enough. The fact that she came out there, got in front of the microphone, and showed her face. It's way more respectable than the people who hide behind their, fake handles and fake accounts and their fake pictures and all that stuff.
What's the craziest thing someone has said to you? I'll go first. I was pretty open in public about my mom passing away last year. And I've seen messages come in and comments where people try to use that to hurt me. They try to use like my divorce to hurt me. And it's kind of crazy, chat. Like, you know me well enough. Like that stuff does not bother me. Like if that stuff bothered me, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. What's the craziest thing that people have said to you?
Oh, I've had people tell me that they hope my plane. Well, I mean, I've had people say they want to kill me, and they were going to, and they dared me to, whatever, that they were going to show up and do all that stuff. I had a guy face to face after I came off of a stage one time and grabbed me by the hand. I shook everybody's hand, and he was a guy, and he was ready to kill me right there in that spot. Security actually had to pull him off.
Wow.
But I've had people tell me that they hope that I die in a plane crash, that my wife dies in a plane crash, that my kids, all that stuff. It's stuff that you don't even want to bring out.
One of the things, I don't know how you would handle this, but like one of the things I'm always, and I'm probably giving them too much, but I'm always worried that I'm like in public with my kid, with like my daughter, and someone comes up and like claps in her face or tries to yell. I don't know if I have that level of self-control to hold myself back. I don't know.
I don't know. I've had to deal with a lot of that stuff over the years. I'm trying to compartmentalize it. I'll tell you one of the funniest things that ever happened to me one time. I had a dude who threatened me, and then he came to one of my shows, and I was in the back of the theater before I went on stage, and he caught up with me. He said, hey, and he says his name. He goes, do you remember who I am? And I was like, no. And he goes, well, I'm the one who said such and such and such. Well, immediately I went on guard, right? Mm-hmm. And then he goes, I was wrong in that, and I'm sorry that I said those things. Could you unblock me on your social media now? I was like, no.
Yeah, that's so.
I don't think so. No,
that's so funny.
I don't think I will.
I just had someone come up to us the other day, actually, Brandon. Brandon and I were over at the Portland Ice facility, and some lady came up and was like, hey, you have me blocked on X. And I go, look, I don't block anybody. If you come in talking crap about Trump or even, God or Jesus, like I want to have my platforms be open for free speech. So if I blocked you, it was for a really good reason. I didn't just block you because you hurt my feelings or you disagreed with me. I blocked you because you were being like something crazy happened. So that's funny. I just had that first interaction where someone was like, you have me blocked. Can you unblock me? I was like, no.
Yeah. There's nothing we can do about if David's microphone is louder than mine. There's nothing we can do about that. I mean,
we can do something about that. Hold on.
It could be anywhere in the system. Who knows? So
it's in my system. Hey, Brandon, can you turn my mic down, please?
Yeah. So mine's about max to where it can go without it starting to peak. But
number one, that's good.
I'll tell you this, David. We talking about that, and obviously we say all of these things a little tongue in cheek, but we're also remembering the fact that Charlie did get shot and killed.
Yeah.
And you never know when somebody's going to pop off and do something. I mean, you're in the midst of danger because you're out in the middle of protests quite often there in Portland.
Yeah.
And you confront people on the street in a loving way, of course. But you have a lot of people. You've got a lot of clips out there where people have come after you. I live in a situation where I don't worry about the people who talk trash. It's the people who don't talk trash. Those are the people you got to watch out for.
Yeah.
So, you live with your head on a swivel, and you do try to keep, an eye out for everybody. But I'm never going to let that stop me from putting my arms around somebody, hugging somebody, and being gracious as what Linda says level meters are great. Linda, you could turn them up all you want. This ain't the ABC truck.
I feel like Linda, I feel like we could be muted and Linda will still say our audio is great because she's just that committed to the show.
Linda's gonna. No, she's saying it ain't. But you got to remember, Linda was the sports director out in the truck for a long, long time, so she's got some expertise in the area. But she is also the creator of the Dancing Banana. But, the stuff going on in our world is if you can dehumanize somebody, you can cause them harm without any sense of conscience. And there's a lot of people out there that want to do those things.
Yeah.
And it's not just people with a platform. It could be anybody. And if true violence were ever to pop off and break out in a wider spread way, it would not be good in any way. But you don't walk in fear, right? You don't walk in...
No.
I do enjoy watching some of those protesters get tackled, though.
Yeah.
And if you notice, what's funny to me is how the trolls or the protesters, they actually dehumanize themselves, like with the fake titles, with the fake handles, with the fake pictures, all of that stuff, the avatars and the profiles that are fake, and then they go out there and they mask themselves up and put on the goggles and put on the gas mask and do all that.
Inflatable bunnies.
They're sort of dehumanizing themselves in a way.
Yeah.
And we live in a world and a culture where people with their gender ideologies and their pronoun offendedness and all that, they've dehumanized themselves, turning themselves into one big androgenized species.
Yeah.
And so they do to us what they're doing to themselves. Like Party Foul Steve just said, they hate themselves.
Absolutely. And, that's a good point, Chad. And that kind of sparked kind of how I approach people in Portland, which is through the compassion, through the lens of Jesus. It didn't happen overnight. I wasn't born that way. I used to be a lot more wild and more crazy towards these people. But I think the Lord kind of showed me over time that, like, if you're not, like it says in 1 Corinthians, like, if you're not loving, then nothing else matters. Nothing else matters if you're not loving. So I'm like, okay, Lord, show me how to love these people, but also stand on truth and not have to water down the truth or sacrifice one or the other. And I feel bad for these people. You talked about dehumanizing. These people have to dehumanize themselves because they're not truly happy. And it's like a drug. Like leftism is like such a drug where you smoke that cigarette, you don't want to, you drink that alcohol, you don't want to, but it helps with the pain a little bit. And I feel like this is, the leftism and what they're doing makes them feel like they belong. And it makes them feel like they belong to something. And if they would some of them would just discover Christ, it is so powerful. We had a guy that was a former Antifa down in Portland the other day who literally, I put a clip of it. He's on there tearing down anti-Trump signs, tearing down anti-ICE. He's like, I'm here for Christ. And I used to be an Antifa ally. I used to march with them. And, I've been kind of awakened. Like, I think people need to understand, Chad, that good is so much more powerful than evil. Right is so much more powerful than wrong. It just may not seem apparent. And I think that if you don't give up on these people and even apply it to your life, that the truth and good and God's goodness is so much more powerful. And I know it doesn't seem that way. And that's why I say no one is lost, even Antifa. I'll save every one of them. I'll help save them.
Well, I'll give you a perfect example. I was having a conversation with someone, a young girl on Saturday, and she was just getting to know her and her boyfriend and just talking to them. I was in a crowd of people, and she was figuring out kind of who I was and all that. And she said, have you ever heard of Brett Cooper? And I said, well, Brett Cooper is actually a personal friend of mine. And she said, listen, I was, a left of lefty in Portland, Oregon. And I said, say no more. I know the type. And she goes, no, I really was. And she said, but I started listening to Brett Cooper. Of course, Brett had a career she was on Disney, on TV, got kicked out over a lot of the stuff that she believed in. She left. She chose to leave. And so she was, she said, I started listening to Brett Cooper, and Brett really opened my eyes to conservative values and all of these things. And I said, well, you know what? I'm going to message Brett, and I'm going to tell her what you said.
Wow.
And I said, and I'll get back with you with a response to what Brett responds with, because I knew Brett would respond. And I said, that'll be greatly encouraging to Brett. And you know what? Brett sent this really encouraging note back saying thank you. It means a lot, and all all the sentiments that go with that. And we got that message back to that young girl. And I said, I want people like that to see that folks on the right really can be gracious. They're not the mean-spirited, hate-filled, narrow-minded, bigoted, misogynistic people that are out there. Yeah. We really do care about your well-being. And so it meant a lot to that girl. And I think that's the kind of thing that you have to do to leave that ripple type legacy, which is something that I think Charlie did. I'll be honest with you, knowing Charlie and knowing his influence with Turning Point and all the other things he did, until I went to that memorial service, and you were there too in Glendale, Arizona.
Yeah.
I don't think it hit me until then how big, truly big, Charlie's influence was on the average person.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you're exactly right. And I think that people have to remember that Antifa and people like them, then the whole story with Brett Cooper is proof, is that we are on the right side. We are on the side of good. We are on the side of common sense. And that's why I tell a lot of these people that go and fight Antifa. There's a lot of right people on the right, conservatives, and people that love Jesus. Okay. And I'm not trying to judge them or anything, because they have to discover it on their own. Nothing I say will change their mind, but they're down there fighting Antifa. They're down there using the same tactics. They're down there cursing back at Antifa. And it's like, guys, what is the end goal here? You're never going to win the state back by going to war with these people, because they have the city leaders and the Democrat leaders behind them to help them. You're never going to win that. I mean, you really got to win these people with conversation, love. Not everybody's going to be, want to hear it. But at the end of the day, do we trust the Lord or do we not trust the Lord? Because if we don't trust the Lord, we're going to go under our own understanding and start fighting. Trust me, I want to go down and start punching people and kicking people in the head for what they're doing to our law enforcement. But at the end of the day, it's like, if we trust God, then we trust that his blueprint for how we are supposed to win people over and win societies over, we trust that actually is going to work. And you're seeing the proof of it through my page. It's not to brag about myself. It's what God's doing through, God speaking to me. And that took me years to figure out. So we got to remember, we're the better side, and we're the actual side that can actually have friends that are on the other side. They can't have friends with us because that's not how they roll. It's not about redemption with them. It's not about forgiveness. It's about bitterness.
That's true. And you can't drink poison and expect somebody else to die. Yeah. You can't do it. And you're poisoning your own soul with the bitterness and the anger. And, trust me, I'm given to provocation. I like to slap the piss out of somebody every now and then. But that's, I'm working on those things. And I will say this before we go to this next clip, is that one of the things that Charlie did and did well was he reasoned with the ideas. And I'm big on that right now, is if you don't have an argument, you don't have an idea, you wind up naked on a bicycle in the cold rain of Portland. And because, again, you're about the shock value and the exposure for the shock value, because you can't rationalize or debate on your own arguments or critical thinking skills. So let's play this clip. I love this clip right here. Play it.
Here I am. Every single one of us goes through times of tests and trials. And you say, God, use me. What do you want from me during this trial? For those of you that are not yet believers, it's very simple. You're going to have a court date. We all die. And you're all going to meet the supreme judge of the universe. Justice is getting what you deserve, which is going to a not so good place. We're all sinners and we all fall short of the glory of God. But thanks to the cross, a perfect, loving God who came down in human form, human flesh, lived a perfect life and died for us so that we could live forever. At that moment, when we're about to get that sentencing into eternal damnation, somebody says, no, I know him. I know her. Welcome to eternal life. You have an opportunity. The gospel in 4 words is Jesus took my place. 3 words is him for me. 2 words is substitutionary atonement. And 1 word is grace. Grace you cannot earn. Grace you do not pay for. It doesn't matter how much money you give to the hospital. It doesn't even matter how many doors you knock on for Trump. And I hope you knock on a lot of doors for him. You can't earn it. It doesn't matter if you're a good person. It doesn't matter if you have always done the best you can, because what's different about Christianity is that it's a gift for all of humanity to receive regardless of everything that we have done. And your life will be transformed. You will be born again. Grace is not earned. It is given by a God who loves you and wants to spend eternity with you. It is the most important decision you can make in your life. Here I am. God bless you guys. Thank you.
You need to send that to Trump.
Yeah, That's true. So hate-filled, right? So hate-filled.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel when you watch that, David?
I knew you were going to do that, you jerk.
I know.
I'm over here, man. I don't know if it's like I haven't eaten food since Sunday because I do a 36-hour fast. I don't know what's going on what the hell's going on with me, but I don't usually cry very easily. And I was getting a little tearied up there on that because it was just so powerful. And it was such a testament to his life and how he was so bold in his faith and how he didn't apologize for saying the name of Jesus. He didn't apologize for telling people about God. And he didn't say God. He said Jesus. He says he called on the name of Jesus. There's a lot of Christians out there that are afraid to say Jesus. We got to tell people the truth here, guys. It's God bless Vivek Ramaswamy for trying to like promote good values. And I support him for governor of Ohio, but we got to call on the name of Jesus because it's our word says, Chad, that he is the only way, the truth, the life. No one comes to the Father but through him. So this is just watching that was just he was so gifted and it just showed his passion for the Lord. And that's what made me emotional is it showed his passion. And if we all had that passion going down to, we would save so many more Antifa people. It's just crazy.
Love and conviction does resonate. And I think I said that this morning on Before the Noise, talking about even unbelievers notice your conviction. And they would people may mock you for your conviction, but they'll at least appreciate that there's some substance behind it. And I think that's what Charlie did so well is there was a real conviction that was there. And because people can tell when they're empty words, right?
Right.
And when it's just lip service. And I think we've gotten to a place even in our churches in America today where so much lip service being done.
Absolutely.
We're more about the temperature of the coffee than we are the surrender and the conviction.
Absolutely, dude. That's so good, dude. And I'm glad that you said that because many churches out there have so failed and at this opportunity that with Charlie's martyrdom, they have failed to capitalize on it. I've had, and Chad, I know you've had too, so many messages of people saying, I am so disappointed in my church right now. Yeah. I feel empty. I'm leaving empty. Can you suggest a good church for me? I can't tell you how many messages and emails I had of people in Oregon and our followers across the nation that were just like, dude, help me. I feel so empty. And I feel this prompt, like the Lord is prepping people's hearts for his work, for his goodness, for him to do a work in their life. And there were so many churches that just because they didn't want to offend, they couldn't even mention the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And it was so disheartening to see, but it was also great to see because you saw, it created more opportunity for people like you and I to tell people, hey, you're okay feeling this and you should feel this. And I know there's going to be pastors that say we shouldn't, there's pastors out there that say, I'm not going to listen to podcasters or news or whatever. Listen, man, that's fine. That's for you. And I'm not going to argue with that. But at the same time, you have to understand that God has created a hunger through Charlie Kirk, through Charlie Kirk's assassination. He has created a new light, a new hunger. And for churches not to even try to capitalize on that and just to leave people empty is honestly one of the most sad things that has happened this year, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. My the church I've been attending for the last number of months, that weekend following Charlie's death, the pastor there, Trent Stewart, you can follow him on social media at Trenton J. Stewart, at Trenton J. Stewart. He's an incredible pastor, got a lot of conviction. I enjoy him. I've been attending his church for the last number of months, and I'm really kind of falling in love with this guy. And but he had a kind of an altar call right at the beginning, man. The altar was flooded with people over this. And then he posted a special tribute on his Instagram today to Charlie, which I thought was very powerful for a pastor of a large church to do what he did in that, because he didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
Didn't have to do that. But I like the conviction on that.
I wanted to show this two more clips here about just his faith, because I wanted to focus on faith here with Charlie. We could talk about politics. We talk about politics every day, but I think the most important thing to extract from Charlie Kirk is his approach to faith and his approach to Christianity and his defending of it. I mean, he was, he didn't really consider himself an apologist, I don't think, but he defended the faith better than anybody.
Yeah. This is why Christianity is different than every other religion in the world, and no college will tell you this. People say all the religions are the same. No. Christianity, unlike any others, all the other religions is you trying to get closer to God. Christianity is God who came to you. What is grace? We know what justice is.
you break into a store, you get what you deserve. You get a month in prison. Mercy is you go in front of the judge and he says, give you a week in prison. Now, grace is something different. Grace is that when you die and you face your creator, you may have a list of everything wrong you've ever done, ever, private and public, omniscient, omnipotent, all of it. And a judgment is about to be given. You're about to get your sentencing. And instead of mercy, instead of justice, all of a sudden someone steps up and says, hold on, I know him, I know her. I'll serve that prison sentence. You can go live free. That is grace, and only Jesus Christ can give you that.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the gospel, dude. It's gospel truth. You got another clip?
I got another clip. I did. We don't have time because I want you to be able to get your last word in. But
I will, even if I have to go long. People have to jump off, they can jump off. But I'll get it in.
Yeah, I mean, there was 3 boys that stood up. Well, first of all, I wanted to play this one real quick. It's 30 seconds. It just kind of shows you Charlie's dedication real quick. Check this out.
Yeah. Play it.
At the core of the left, at the core of a liberal, is someone that would use the sword if they had it. They are very violent people at their core. They always have been. They can't debate. They can't have conversation. So they'll resort to these tactics. They're going to do everything they possibly can to try to murder this movement because they can't beat us. So they're going to try to take weapons. And no, we're very aware of that. I'm aware of it. We have to have full-time security. This is not a joke. This is who these people are.
Literally predicted what was going to happen to him. And I want that to be a reminder because I wanted that last clip. We're gonna, I think we should end it there on that clip. And if you guys want to see the 3 boys that stood up at an Oregon school board on behalf of Charlie Kirk over a teacher who was like praising or a middle school counselor praised his death online. And these 3 boys went to the school board and absolutely ripped him. And it was so powerful. And they said the impact that Charlie Kirk had on them. I suggest you guys go watch that. But I wanted to leave off on that, man, because Chad, as you have said before, nothing has changed. Just because they got Charlie Kirk, it doesn't mean they're going to just you've seen the rhetoric coming from them. There's people either praising his death or there were people saying that, well, they were justifying it. They have not. Let me just tell you guys something. The left and the media have not changed. They are the same. They are the same people before Charlie Kirk's death, and they're the same people now. They have not changed. All of us that are fighting for freedom, that's why you should be supporting Chad any way you can. You should be blowing up the chat, sharing all his episodes. Support people, because all of us who are public, especially in places like Portland and Seattle, I'm telling you, we live under that. We have that in the back of our minds. We just don't allow that fear and worry to control what God is telling us to do. So support Chad, support what he's doing. He is on the right track. You're seeing God bless his Before the Noise. He just got a deal with Rumble. It's incredible what God's doing through you, my friend. And I'm so honored to be part of it.
I love you, buddy. I couldn't be doing it without you, that's for sure. And I love you, love Party Foul Steve, love the whole team of the, it's frustrating some days. It is with all the challenges that we have in front of us.
Absolutely.
But we're building something here, and I think it's a voice. I think it's a platform that matters. I really do, and it's not just about me, that's for sure. So make sure you guys are following at David Medina, PDX.
Love you guys. Go Mariners.
Yeah. Get out of here. All right. Let me give you my final word here. If you want to pop that graphic up there. I don't know if we're even doing graphics. Yeah, of course we are. I promised you I would do this, and so I want to do it because I think it's important to do it. When we talk about people like Charlie and we talk about being able to leave a legacy, I think a lot of times people do, if you missed what I said at the very beginning, people do think in terms of trophies or titles or trust funds. But a valuable legacy, it doesn't have anything to do with what you leave to people. It's everything to do with what you leave inside of them. Now, it's not about an inheritance, about an influence, right? And that's what we see as we celebrate Charlie's legacy. And again, we're doing that because today Charlie Kirk would have been 32 years old. And so this is a heavenly birthday for him, this October 14th, 2025. But ultimately, legacy is not about what the people that you leave behind get when you're gone. Like, it's not just an inheritance, but it's what they carry because you live. So when you and I, we realize that we're temporary, and we're a vapor, we're a breath, we're a moment in time. The prophet Isaiah said that what is man but the breath that's in his nostrils? What we build into the lives of other people, whether that be truth, courage, character, a good name, or faith, that's the stuff that doesn't die. It's the eternal echo of an earthly life. So let's start here, okay? Legacy always begins in the small things. You can't fake a legacy. You can fake an image, you can fake a reputation or a public persona, but you cannot fake a legacy. It's formed in the moments that nobody's looking at or applauding, because that's the way it is when you treat a waitress a certain way when you're frustrated, or the patience you show your children when they're acting out, or kind of the way you carry yourself when the crowd walks away and the cameras stop rolling. That's where legacy starts, and that's where it's forged. So we live in this world that's obsessed with visibility, right? But legacy is built in invisibility. That's where it's built when people can't see. It's not what you post, it's what you practice. And it's not what people see, it's who you are when nobody's watching. If you want to leave a valuable legacy, there's three things that matter. It's your principles, your people, and your perseverance. Your principles, your people, and your perseverance. I think you could see this echoed in the life of Charlie Kirk. You know, when it comes to principles, principles are the anchors of the legacy because they're the non-negotiables that guide your decisions when life tests your convictions. You can't leave a legacy if you keep shifting with the wind of opinion. Like a person with no principles is going to leave confusion behind. A person with principle is going to leave clarity behind. So every great legacy has a backbone. Moses had that conviction, right? Paul had that endurance. Jesus had that purpose. And they didn't drift through life. They stood for something that ultimately outlived them. So you got to ask yourself, what do I actually stand for? If your children could only inherit your convictions, would they be rich or would they be poor? That's your principles. Second is people. Legacy isn't built in isolation. It's transferred through people. So the question isn't, what am I doing with my life? The question is, who am I doing life with? And what am I depositing inside of them? You can spend decades building empires, but if you don't invest in people, your name is going to die when your heart stops beating. And the truth is, no one will remember your titles. They will remember how you made them feel when you were around them and how you lifted them up and how you helped them see something greater in themselves. Jesus didn't leave behind a monument. He left behind disciples. He poured his life into people who carried his message to the ends of the earth, and that's a legacy. So if you want to leave a valuable legacy, teach someone what you've learned. Mentor the next generation. Encourage the overlooked. Pass the torch and don't hoard it. That's the people aspect. Principles, people, and then perseverance. Every valuable legacy has battle scars. Legacy doesn't come easy. It's tested through adversity. You can't inspire anybody with a story that's never been tested. You can't pass on strength that you've never had to use. And the people who leave the deepest legacies are the ones who refuse to quit when life tried to bury them. Have you been buried? I've been buried. But think about it like this. Your pain becomes your platform. Your endurance becomes someone else's encouragement. And every trial you overcome is going to write a manual for the ones who are coming behind you. So like when your children, your students, or your friends are going to face their own storms, they're going to remember how you handled yours. Because legacy is not about just never failing. It's about showing them how to rise up again when you do. So let's get honest. The question isn't whether you're going to leave a legacy. The question is what kind of legacy you're going to leave. Because everybody's going to leave something behind. Some people are going to leave bitterness. Some people are going to leave beauty. Some people are going to leave debt. Others are going to leave some direction. You're literally writing your debt legacy every single day. You're doing it in your words, your actions, your decisions, your sacrifices. And you don't get to decide if you're going to leave one. You only get to decide what it's going to be worth. So how do you leave that valuable legacy? I think you got to live by design, not default. Don't drift. You got to decide what kind of person you want to be remembered as. Start living that way. So if you're trying to be comfortable, stop. Live with conviction. Because legacy isn't built in the easy seasons. It's built when you do what's right, even when it costs you something. So plant the trees whose shade you'll never sit under. Serve people who can't pay you back. Give without the applause. That's the eternal investment. And in the end, a valuable legacy isn't your name on a building. It's your fingerprints on somebody's soul. Because it's not a monument, it's a movement. And if you want to know what real success is, it's when people are better because you existed. It's when your love keeps healing after you're gone. It's when your faith keeps speaking after your voice goes silent. And the great paradox of life, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to get out of here in a minute, is you only find immortality when you stop living for yourself. So when that final chapter of life is written about you and the ink of your days has run dry, I hope your story reads like this one. He walked with integrity. She loved with purpose. They lived for something bigger than themselves. Because that is ultimately the legacy that is worth leaving. And I think that's a good one. And we finished right on the hour. How about that? Boom, got it done. Get my book, Born for Meaning. It'll help you understand more about who you are and how to handle the adversities of life and ultimately leave a better legacy. Born for Meaning, you can get it at Amazon. You can go to bornformeaning.com. It just takes longer for you to get those, as some of you have found out. And go over to pray30tees.com. Get the Make America Pray Again shirt. I love that shirt so much because God's going to make us pray. We need to make ourselves pray. And join me each morning for Before the Noise, 8/7 Central. And click that like button. Come on, give me them dancing bananas. Blow it up, blow it up, blow it up. Boom, ba, boom, ba, boom. I'm alternating bananas and American flags. I don't know what they mean, but there they are. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. Before you get out of here, hit subscribe on Rumble or YouTube and hit the notification bell. So, whoa, you can ring my bell. It'll tell you when I go on. It'll tell you. It'll notify you. And you can jump on here and be a part of it. Thank you for participating in the chat. Jump down below and click the thumbs up button. And also leave us a comment down below as well. That helps the algorithm of the show. Share these if you're willing. I sure would appreciate it. And say a prayer for the family and the legacy of Charlie Kirk. He's our friend, and we miss him. We miss his voice. And I think a lot of you guys remembered just how much you miss him today with some of those clips. So make sure you leave us a rating and review where podcasts are offered on Apple or Spotify. And go listen. Please go listen to Before the Noise on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. I got to go over here and deal with Party Foul Steve, who's standing in his underwear. Talk about a legacy, my Lord. All right, I'll see y'all tomorrow morning Before the Noise, and stay tuned for some of our other videos that we'll put out this afternoon. I love you guys so much. Thankful for my guest, my dear brother, my producer, David Medina, at David Medina, PDX. Go follow him. Follow me at Watch Chad. Talk to you later. Till then, God bless. Thanks. Bye.